near you.
Welcome, everybody. How's everybody doing? Cindy, Mike, how y'all doing?
Yeah, we're doing all right. At least I am.
I'm doing good. A little under the weather last week, but this week I'm feeling better. So good to be back.
I know. Right now it's my turn. I've been down since Sunday. Haven't done any shows all week. This is my first one.
Really?
It's hitting everybody. It's rough.
Mary's sick now, and we had a show scheduled at 7. She couldn't even do it, so we just canceled it. Yeah, it's been rough.
Wow. Yes, it has.
Yeah, it's been real rough.
I don't like it. I'm ready for spring. I'm ready for warm weather.
Yes, we are.
Isn't that the truth? So what are we going to talk about tonight, ladies and gentlemen?
You know, I mean, I think it's an open table discussion. I had some thoughts this week, and doing a little bit of research, because you guys know that I kind of dabbled in the paranormal as well. I guess we'll put it that way. Yeah. But as far as sightings, not just sightings, encounters with cryptids, Bigfoot. Let's say, I was looking into the possibility that maybe people who have disadvantages, or maybe, I don't want to say handicaps, maybe disabilities, mental something.
Special needs.
Special needs. I like that better.
That's a politically correct term they're using these days. So.
I like that better.
I'm all the above. So what the hell, Mike?
Well, I think we all have special needs to a certain extent.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Well, I recently had a diagnosis that had me looking into it. So I was like, I wonder if there's a correlation here between encounters and maybe them showing themselves to people who have, maybe some special needs or in some way. I started to realize, the more encounters happen when people do have, let's say, ADHD, even autism, that on the spectrum. Is there something about their brain or something that makes them more susceptible to it?
Well, those are good questions for sure.
They are. And I'll start out with about 8 years ago, and I won't mention any names because either her parents are probably watching or going to watch the replay, and or the young lady is going to watch this show because we all know her. Mm-hmm. And the parents called me, and they were like, my daughter has autism and something else. I don't remember what it is, but their face kind of looks different.
Right.
Not Down syndrome, but it's something else. I'm not a medical person, so just forgive me. And whoever has this disorder, you can tell by looking at them, just like Down syndrome, right? That they have it. And parents were like, she's making comments that she's seeing hairy man. And I'm like, is it a neighbor drunk running around, your pond or something? I have to ask, because the neighbors are down the road, they have parties. And they were like, well, we don't know, but there's been rocks being placed on the porch. And I'm like, wow.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, what kind of rock? And they're like, well, some of them are colored. And I'm like, can you take pictures of this? And they're like, yeah. So they took pictures of it and they sent it to me. And she is on the spectrum as well with autism.
Right.
And they wanted me to talk to her off the record. So I did. I initiated the phone call with them. And at the time, she was a minor. So her parents were present at the table, which, ladies and gentlemen, remind yourself, if you are a podcaster or an interviewer or researcher, you got to ask permission. Don't just talk to somebody on race. Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
That's just law enforcement. And as I was just casually talking to her, and I just let her have the floor, she's like, I was down by the pond playing, and this hairy creature that looked like, I don't know what to tell you, Grizzly, it looked like a wolf. but it was almost.
Oh.
And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah. So I was like, is this a dream that you have reoccurring? Or she's like, no, it just shows up from time to time when I'm down in the pond playing.
Wow.
And I'm like, well, tell me, what does it look like? And she's describing, ladies and gentlemen, a dog man. And the parents, and I kept telling the parents, stay out of it. Stop. Because they're all getting, oh my God, she's crazy, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
And
no,
I was like, so what's
crazy.
going on? Right. I said, so what happens with your interaction? She's like, the hairy man sees me. Wow. I'm like, what? Is it a neighbor, a friend of yours? She's like, I don't know what it is. It's just very big and hairy, and it doesn't talk. It grunts. And it gives me rocks and sticks. And sometimes I find them on the porch.
That is amazing.
Trinkets or toys. So this went on. And I asked permission to have her on the show to interview her. And the parents were like, hell no, you're not doing that, embarrassing our family. A couple months later, they allowed it to happen. Come to find out, there was a neighbor down the street that had severe autism, was gifting Bigfoot food.
Oh my God.
This was a 15-year-old girl.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, see that my diagnosis was actually autism. So I'm on the spectrum as well. And it really started to make a little bit more sense to me when I found that out. A lot of things actually did, obviously, but the idea of this and I don't know what it is. Is it a difference in your brain? Is it a more openness? Is it? I mean, it was interesting me to want to figure out exactly what is it if it's the case.
So I look at it in a scientific way, right? So when we look at a human being, we can usually tell by our spidey senses if they're normal or abnormal, right? If they have a disability or special needs. Number one. Number two, we think that these forest people, creatures, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call them, can sense our intentions. We've been saying that for years.
Right.
But another thing that I'm thinking of, since we got into aura photography, you know how deer can see different infrareds, right? Your clothes, the different shades, and how certain psychics can look at you and say, oh, you got aura colors here, and this is what it means. Is it possible if Bigfoot could read your aura and also tell you what type of person you are? I'm just saying, is it a possibility? Because I never thought about that until we had to get certified with the equipment, with aura photography, and how it works and how it reads your auras, your chakras, your 7 chakras in your body, what it means. And I was flabbergasted. And I was I used to see them, and I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was going black because I didn't know what all this fuzz and little colors meant. I was like, oh, hell, something's wrong with my eyes, right? Is that a possibility?
It goes into your, obviously your energy. And so, I guess that makes sense. And the sensitivity to the energy. So, and I feel like that, they have names for the spectrum now instead of just autism or you're on the lower end or higher end. They call it neurodivergence, which is basically your brain functions and operates, the synapses fire a little differently. You release, dopamine and all this in a different way. And even your thought processes are different. So the more they scientifically look into it, the more they're finding out, the variations between a neurotypical person and a person who is neurodivergent. So I was thinking about, David Paulides with the missing 411 phenomenon and how he speaks himself about who a lot of people who go missing are people with special needs or with autism or a mental disorder. Or
they're drunk out there hunting.
Yes. There's a lot of that.
And I said that on record, ladies and gentlemen. Yes.
Yes.
A lot of hunters are not nice. They're pricks.
Nope. They are. Of course they are. And I've recently heard a story about a guy who was hunting and Bigfoot came up and grabbed him, like grabbed his cell phone off the stand. And it scared him so bad, he took off, and the guys were like, let's go get your stuff. He's like, nope, never going back there again. So you have to wonder what their intentions are. I mean, they're hunters, like you said.
Right.
I mean, energy, there's a lot to do with energy. And it has to be that these beings they have got this other sense that is so in tune with energy. I mean, that may be like a forefront of their ability to discern what things are or what what people are like. It's just an interesting thing that I've been to.
Right, your cats and your dogs. If people are good people, they come to them. If people are not good people, they do not come around.
Right,
you're right.
You do
They're
see
skittish.
that,
yeah,
with other animals, and
you do.
The
Sasquatch, absolutely.
They know a lot more about us than we can ever imagine. Just in the times I've been around them, they I think Cindy's probably onto something here. And they sense. You take a special needs. They also sense the individual. I would guess probably, appreciates as many friends as you can get. So
Yeah.
The
So would that be a sort of a not a tool to use, but a way to approach them as far as like, people who are on the spectrum, having them be a part of an expedition or some research not to say bait, because
Well, yeah, bait's not good. I've got a friend here in Cape that he works with. He's a veteran. He's very involved in our local VFW, and he works with a lot of PTSD veterans. And he and I have talked many times about bringing PTSD veterans out on outings, and seeing how it would help them, and seeing maybe how the Sasquatches would respond to that, or if there'd be any kind of connection because of what they've gone through and what they've dealt with and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We just haven't, we're just in talks of doing that, but it would be interesting to try to figure that out. So
I would definitely like to know. Yeah, I would definitely be in on.
Well, you got emotional pets. You got canines that recognize strokes, canines that can recognize seizures before it happens. And look at how animals recognize certain weather patterns or earthquakes before it happens, right?
Yeah.
Because we don't know anything about what these things are, what they're capable of. I mean, we're just speculating.
Yeah,
but
man,
they do not diagnose adults with any type of autism or any type of spectrums. It stops. I forgot what age before they turn. I think 18 or 17.
Well, now they actually are starting to diagnose people late. It is something now that is beginning to happen, and they're diagnosing people later who, like when we were younger, there wasn't really a diagnosis for this. People didn't have it. And I don't think it's the fact that people didn't as much as the fact that it wasn't recognized as well.
They didn't know, they didn't recognize it. You're hyper, you're this or you're that, but now you're getting several people, adult age, getting different diagnoses like this.
Well, that was mine. It was more recent, and it was I had no idea. But after getting testing done and finding out, oh, wait a minute, instead of me being bipolar and all these other things that they were trying to diagnose me with for years, they come to this, and it makes perfect sense. And people think, well, just because you're functional, you're okay, but that's I struggle a lot with very normal things in life and never knew why I did. But it's a really hard, it's been very difficult not knowing what was going on. But now that I do, things make a lot more sense. So, and I guess that's what my big obsession with Bigfoot has been, because it's been an obsession since I had my first experience. I have been hyper focused on this, and it has been a huge thing. And I've had more experiences since then. So, I mean, maybe it goes hand in hand.
I just put in the comments for the viewers the Gillian Autism Rating Scale, the second edition, stops at age 22. Wow. And I'm reading on the forums. Usually, they like to catch or test between the toddlers between 16 and 30 months.
Mm-hmm. They do.
That's what I'm saying. And so you look at when I interview adults in the past years, I ask specific questions about their behavior and what they do on a daily basis, to see if they have any indication of autism. Have they ever been diagnosed? And then sometimes, well, I think the doctors say I may have it, but they never diagnosed me, right? Because I'm too old.
Right.
So, but then you go back and you look at the affiliation with cryptids.
Yes.
And there is a trend. Because I think we did a show a couple years ago on this, and man, we've got like viewers that were sending me emails like, yeah, when I was a kid, my neighbor's girl, she had blah, 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 and Bigfoot, and I just couldn't believe the responses.
So, wow. Yeah. It's in a way, it's like, it's refreshing in a way, because to know that so many people like this do have these experiences, it's almost exciting to be able to take a portion of the population and say, hey, these people are the ones who could really experience this. And it's almost progress in a way in this field. And I mean, in the psychological, the mental field too, that's a heck of a big thing.
It is. And what's interesting, Cindy, not one child that I ever spoke to was ever scared.
You know what? The thing is, I'm never scared.
I am. Man, they grab myself, go to grab my pew.
I'm not ever scared. Like when I go out and I have people, even like my family, they're like, no, you cannot do that. Like, why are you not scared of this?
You may have ovaries of steel, but Grizzly don't. Okay, so let's get that straight. I mean, no offense, but I mean, that's like Mary. Mary's like, well, I'll go out and try to communicate. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? Hell, you ain't. Mary, you probably get a hold of one that just came off a menstrual cycle or something. What the hell?
Oh. Well, I mean, I figure. I got ideas. I'll bring like some coffee and just see if he wants to sit down with a cup. And I have ideas.
The recording equipment I have, watch nothing ever work. Ain't that right, Mike?
Well, that's probably true. But try it and leave the recording equipment alone. Just go out there, you and them.
Yeah, that's what I have.
I have my best interactions when there's no recording, no equipment, just me.
Hey, what the hell's wrong with you? I won't be like Blair Witch if I'm going to die.
No, I don't think I'll die. I just think, I don't know. See, I should be. I've always said I should have this fear there about it. I should be a little bit afraid.
Cindy, do you not even get nervous? Like if they come around real close?
Mike don't.
I do get nervous a little bit.
Mike be sitting around the fire and Mike be like, "This is in the woods."
I get excited. Like I get excited. Like like I get really.
Yeah.
I get really excited.
I'll get a little nervous because I'm thinking, okay, they're that close, and but I don't think it's scared or fear or anything like that. I'll still talk to them or whatever. But
no, yeah.
Well, you sang to them. What the hell?
Well, I didn't sing to them, but
maybe we can.
If I start singing, they'll clear the woods.
They're like, what the hell's wrong with this guy?
I mean, you could try some samurai chatter. I don't know how to do it, but.
Oh man, I did up in Ohio, and I was with Tim with Ohio Bigfooters, and it was pitch black, and Tim was waving his arm. I thought he was trying to fly out of his chair. And I turned around, he had his pistol in his hand. He's like, turn it off. And here comes this big twig, come through the trees like, I'm like, what the hell is that? He's like, Grizzly, it's the third one. I was trying to tell you, turn it off. Don't play that crap.
You need to tell him,
because I got a speaker.
You need to tell him what I tell my son when he's with me. Put that gun away.
Yeah, you do. You got to put them up. Yeah.
I said, put that gun away. They're not going to hurt us.
And then the cops show up the next night, and I'm like, what the hell are we going to tell them? And Tim's like, I don't know. I was, well, I'll just flash your badge, and maybe they'll just tell them to go on. Yeah, I don't know. Out in all the woods with lasers and grids, and because I kept seeing something walk along the edge of the woods, and I'm like, man, is that somebody messing with us? Seeing us come in, so I put laser grids up. And then, of course, it got foggy, and I was like, what the hell? That sucked.
They're not.
That branch that come through the top of the trees, that was crazy. So
what happened
there's
there?
one on YouTube that plays several of them, like back to back, like different ones, like Ohio, Kentucky, whatever, and they were all combined. And whatever one it didn't like, it was throwing twigs or branches. So, and Ron told me, don't ever play my Sierra sounds out in the woods, because I don't know what it means. I'm like, I don't either, but I want to see what happens.
See, I'm leery about that because I don't know what mess. I just talk to them in English. That's all I know. So,
well, I mean, they get it. They understand.
They're either thinking that stupid kook's trying to imitate me, or I don't know. But it's.
I wonder what they thought when Ron and his crew were actually trying to imitate them.
Oh, I told Ron I'd choke his ass out. He's down there instigating to some, I almost said a bad word. He's instigating them, trying to move them. And that made it worse.
Yeah.
But, hey, that one guy, I mentioned his name, he defriended Ron over that. It scared the hell out of them. They thought they were going to get eaten. Ron's like, one across the creek. He's like, shut up, Ron. What are you doing?
I think it's great. That's some great evidence, though.
I mean, can you imagine being 15, 20 miles up in the mountains and having that kind of activity?
Yeah, man.
I put a barrel out and fired off like a few rounds or something.
The fact that they didn't, though, the fact that they just saw it through is just, I'm jealous. I want in that. Like, that's the kind of experience I want to have.
Story, you know how Ron ended up down there, right? Or do you not know?
Weren't they out there hunting at first?
So this happened before Ron went down there, and they were trying to tell Ron what was going on. Ron's like, you full of crap. He's like, whatever, that ain't going on. And the guy's like, no, man, I'm telling you, there's something in the woods, man. And Ron's like, what? He's like, no, I'm telling you. And Ron's like, well, we're going to get a posse together. And Ron brought all that recording equipment. And Ron was like, what the hell? Yeah, that's how it went down. Hey, Rita. So,
it's so good. Well, that's my dream, too. Go out there into the Sierras. Yeah, I would love to do that. That would be so fun.
Hey, I hit my chest like a grape ape or whatever in the Congos.
Yeah.
At the zoo one time, and that pissed him off. So I don't want to do that out in the woods.
Well, I think, wouldn't that be kind of common sense not to do?
Well, I didn't know better. I was just imitating them, and that one male didn't like it. Or whatever it was.
It's kind of like going up to an African lion and roaring at him, Grizz.
I'm okay, So.
Oh man!
But Mary, I told Mary we need to take her kids to the LBL.
That's where I want to go. Super bad. Let me know.
She's got one on the spectrum.
Oh, well, let me know. I'll go too because I want to go to the LBL. Let's take a bunch of us out there and let's just.
Well, that ruined it when she watched the LBL thing on.
I'll go.
Oh, she got so mad. She's like, you don't use my kids as bait and camp down there. What the hell's wrong with you, dog band running around there eating people, murdering people? Oh, it was awful.
Let's go. I'm ready. I'm telling you, there is a dog man. There is a dog man out. Let's see, a little bit south of Blue Ridge, Georgia.
I do not want to ever see one of those.
There's one out there, at least one. Well, obviously, probably more than one, but I know there's at least one out there. I know for a fact.
Cindy, would you recognize a dog man track if you saw one?
Yes.
Okay. Then sometime this evening, I'm going to send you a photo of a track, and see if you think that resembles that, because
there's two different types of tracks I found out, and I witnessed this at Salt Fork. And when that girl with my camera, I stepped over that dog print, and she was taking pictures of it, and they were getting ready to cast it. And I was like, what are you taking pictures of? She's like, look at this. I about fell over. Because it was this big, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And no canines that big, and the toenails went down in the mud.
Yes.
And it sunk about that far in the mud. And I'm a good hefty guy. I'm probably 230, 240. And I was not even barely a half inch, even with my gear on.
I've seen them before.
And I'm like, what the hell?
I have seen the trap. Man, that one gives me a little tingle now. like that. That one.
But it's weird because right next to it, there were Sasquatch tracks. And that, it's like, are they chasing each other? Are they friends? Because we hear conflicting information. I don't know.
I have felt when I'm out, they're not friends. Like, they're not. I don't think that they're friends at all.
I know very little about the dog man. From what I hear, sometimes they might tolerate each other, but I'm with Cindy. I haven't heard much about them running together.
No. I've heard the opposite. I've heard that they have actually, oof. Yeah, that one is a little fun. The one growl that I heard, really, that one, I'll have to tell you, that one did make me want to leave. I left very quickly after that, because that's not, you can definitely tell the difference between a sound from one and a sound from the other, like a Sasquatch or a dog man. Very different sounds. Different resonance, I guess. I don't know, but the one time I know that I heard, that's what I heard. That was it made me feel, because the Bigfoot. Now I've had that sound, the chest rattling sound, but this dog man was very different. If that's what it was a lot more. I don't know. I want to say sinister. I guess that's the only word I can come up with. It was a lot more unnerving. I mean, Sasquatch sounds are unnerving too, but this was really I don't want to say evil, but kind of evil sounding or feeling, maybe.
Right.
Yeah. They'd probably give you a dirtier look anyway, just their appearance. But
well, yeah, maybe is it because of their appearance? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you have people that say that they, inhabit property with dog men and they're okay with each other. But I don't want to. I mean, I'm good with the Sasquatch. I don't want to come across that. I don't think. But
well, I always say you can't choose which one you're hunting. You know what I mean? You can't.
Right.
You can't pick and choose. I'm going to hunt this one and not that one. So they're in the same vicinity. Something you might not have a choice over. All
right, Cindy, tell me what you think about this. Volume's up.
Mhm.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's the one. That's the
So we
one.
were at
That's the
Salt Fork.
one.
We was at Salt Fork, and this guy come up to me. He's like, Grizzly. I didn't know who he was. Real nice guy. I ain't gonna mention his name until I ask permission again.
Yeah.
But it's still playing. That scared the hell out of me. Hold on, let me stop it. And
Man.
we were sitting around the campfire, and we were getting ready to cook dinner. And he was like, "Man," he's like, "something's terrorizing the neighborhood out in the country." And I'm like, "Well, you got coyote problems or something?" Yeah, I haven't been coyote hunting in years. That'd be fun. I got all kinds
Oh
of
yeah.
teams, right? He's like,
Yeah.
"Man, we don't know what it is, and the Fish and Wildlife and police don't want to deal with this." And I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What is it?" He's like, "We have no idea." I'm like, "What do you mean you have no idea?" And he's like, "It screams." And I'm like, "Oh, it's
Mhm.
Bigfoot." That's what I'm thinking. And he's like, "We've been trying to get it recorded for like 2 weeks off this ridge." And my neighbor called me, I think it was 1.5 miles, 2 miles down the road. He said, "It's here, it's here." So he drove down there, and he sat there for like 15, 20, and he actually got it recorded. When he played that, I turned white. Because I
That
heard
is
that down there in
daylight.
Tennessee. I heard that down in Tennessee, and 2 guys took off running. And I was like, "What the hell is that?" And the guy was like, "That's Dogman." I was like, "Oh, come on." And he's like, "No, the 2 guys took off." I told Mike about this on one of the shows. And they never did. I never did talk to them again. And they were known activity down there in Tennessee for Dogman. And
Oh yeah.
and if you have the headphones to listen to it, it is so deep and loud.
Yeah.
And
That's
I'm like,
the
holy cow. So I played it to some, I don't want to call them experts of dogmen, but they have a lot of knowledge. They do a lot of
yes.
research, investigations. I didn't say anything. I was like, "I'm gonna play something for you." They're like, "What the hell? Where'd you get that from?" That's a real recording. That is not altered. That is the
Yeah.
real deal.
And
I
it's
know it's the
in
real
middle
deal.
of the day. Middle of the day, is it not?
Yes, it sure was.
The other time that I've heard something that like that. I was hiking, not doing any research. I was hiking with my family, and we were in this place called Track Rock Gap. Yeah, I divulged, and it's anybody can look it up, but it is very, very steeped in Native American history. And there are burials, all sorts of stuff. And there's this place that's supposed to be an old settlement that we were going up to, and it's very, very old. So it's off trail, and it's kind of a secret place. It's up the mountain, and we were coming back down, and this mountain's huge, and then there's a couple other ridges that are across the holler, and that sound comes from over. Oh, it had to be down in the holler, and it was just one time, and it was bone chilling. But about 5 minutes after that, it sounded like the mountain exploded. I don't know why, but the mountain we were standing on, it literally sounded like it just boom. There was this huge
Wow.
like a boom. And it was not, but like 5 minutes after we heard this, middle of the day. And first we hear this, and it I swear it was a dog man. I'm sitting there, that's dog man, that's dog man. They're like, no, it's a dog. It's just, no, I'm telling you, that was not normal. And then the boom. So what, I don't know if there was a correlation, but that is nearly exactly the sound that I heard, what you played.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't play it much because a lot of people eventually are going to use that and say it's theirs or cut it out. You know how people are.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost Cindy. But I wanted Cindy to hear it since she's said she's heard it before and see with the comparison of it. Because if you ever heard something like that, you will not forget it.
No, you don't. You don't forget those. You're out there in the woods. You don't forget that stuff when you hear what you hear, especially when you hear, whether it be a loud squatch howl or loud whatever else. I mean, it embeds in your mind what you heard. So
Yeah, that's just
and the funny thing is, like, we had the Kings on here a couple weeks ago, Jim King and
I'm back.
his granddaughter, and
Hey, I'm back.
All right.
Welcome back, Cindy. And
I don't know what happened.
I was out with Jim one night, and we heard a real loud Sasquatch yell that wasn't really too far from us, and he's like, "Do we need to go?" Now, 5 years ago, I would have said, "Yeah, I'm leaving." When I first started doing this, do we need to go? I said, "No, we don't need to go. Just stay right here. Maybe he'll come a little closer."
Yeah.
So,
wow, it's hard to find people that will do that. That'll stay though.
I think I'm ready to go to truck. Go. I said, that's not why you came here. You didn't come here to go to truck. You came here to have experiences.
Yes. Yes, I had somebody that would go with
get
me
out
like
in the
that.
woods, and it happens, and we all lose their crap, and
They do.
But,
this is true. I know one night I was with someone. We were in one of our areas, just on the fringes of the area. We hadn't even gotten in the woods. We were it was a wildlife area, sort of a national forest kind of tract off in the woods. We hadn't even gotten into it yet. And we were sitting, getting our stuff together. And there was a check-in station, probably about 50 yards from us for, hunters and everything. It was off season. And there's a metal gate that goes across where you turn in to go to the check-in station. And all of a sudden you hear this loud bang, like, the metal, something hit the metal. And they were throwing rocks at this metal sign, like at the metal thing. And he got freaked out. And I'm like, no, don't go anywhere. This is close. And you could hear the rah, rah, like that. Yeah. And then ding, he was like, nope. He had the 4 or 5 flashlights, like moving him around, really, really bright flashlights. I'm like, turn off the light. Not turning the light off. I'm getting in the car. It's like, no, that's not what we're doing. So yeah, it's hard to find someone that'll like hang in there sometimes.
Yeah, it's sometimes you be careful what you wish for. I want to go out with you. I got to experience that. Be careful what you wish for. Sometimes some people, it's not for everybody.
But I learned how to ask questions. I've been a researcher for 15 years. My first question is, how many encounters have you had? That's where I start.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good one. That's really good.
I'm just being honest. Is that Salt Fork when I screamed like a woman and they thought it was Trina and everybody took off running to the other camp? I told everybody down there at Salt Fork, I'm not afraid of no man. I've been up to the baddest and the wickedest, whatever, fighting and arresting. But when it comes to something like that, you don't know what it is or anything like that. Yeah, it makes you stop and think a little bit.
Well, yeah, it better. I mean, it definitely. You have to screen them first, and that was my mistake. Is this person was like, I don't believe in this. Well, I guess you do now.
It's always the ones who are afraid of what they don't believe in.
Yeah.
You take the skeptics out and they get a close interaction or a close howl or something like that, and they're ready to go. Wait a minute, if you think I'm making this up, why are you afraid?
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Last show, I told Mike, when we go camping again and they want to push on my tent and tear it up, I want to do an air horn and scare the hell out of them.
Yeah.
Do you think it was juvenile? Do you think it was a juvenile?
Well, I don't know because the hand was so damn big. It's not like I ever shook hands with Bigfoot.
This is true.
A 10-year-old or a 20-year-old. I mean, I don't think I know it wasn't human. And when I saw the palm and how wide it was, and then the fingers, the length of the finger, that's when I lost my crap.
Well,
because the whole tent was shaking. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I screamed.
We go back to the early years of me getting involved in this, and my buddy Bill, he tells us, I'm going to go up there and camp for 3 nights, and I'm going to figure this Bigfoot stuff out once and for all. You guys are welcome to camp with me, and I'm like, I'm not camping out there. I'm not, so we're not doing it. And then I thought, well, okay, so the second night, if he survives the first night, we'll go out the second night. Well, he sends us a text after that first night, he says, "Don't bother coming out. I'm out of here." He left at 6 in the morning,
See?
and he had a couple of Sasquatch come into his camp, come in messing around. They were looking back on it, knowing what we know now. They were messing with him, playing around, giving him the old, type stuff, and well, he got scared and he got terrified, and he was alone, and he pulled his 45 out and he fired off about 5 shots in the air, 5 rounds in the air to scare them out of his camp.
Oh man!
And this is all on one of my Understanding Bigfoot episodes. But and he went, and as soon as he did that, for about 10 seconds, the wood that just everything went silent. And then he said you could hear just everything broke loose with Bigfoot screaming and howling all over his surrounding him. He said it sounded like a dozen of them or more.
Wow!
Because they did that for about 15 seconds, and then they just quit.
Oh.
Because then everything got silent the rest of the night.
Yeah,
I went out. I went out to the place. I went out to the place the next day. I saw the footprint where the thing was standing, where he'd planted the foot and took off into the woods. Probably when the shot was fired, you could see that pivot and that plant, about a 16-inch foot, and the couple progressions going into the woods. My theory on that was that when the rest of the clan found out that the ones in the camp messing were okay, shut up and leave them alone.
That makes sense.
The first, the time they're screaming and hollering, hooting and hollering and making all kinds, they're like, what happened? Is somebody hurt? And I would have, and if somebody would have been hurt, Bill probably wouldn't have got out of there. But then when everybody's okay, they left. He said, he goes, about 4 o'clock in the morning, he sat in the middle of his tent holding his gun and just shivered until the sun came up. Then he hopped in his truck and left. And he said he'd never camp again. He goes, I'm never going to camp again. Well, he camped again. And then he camped again. And after about 3 times, I'm like, okay, he's still alive. Okay, I'll go camp with you. And we had some great times and some great interactions and experiences. But that first one, and of course, at that time, he wasn't sure about this stuff. He was into it, but he didn't know. We'd go out there to the conservation area. We'd see some footprints. We'd hear a few things in the daytime, but we had never done anything at night prior to his first camp out. So
that's amazing. I love that.
But
it's great that after even the initial interaction, although it was a little bit dicey and scary for him, that it became a good thing.
But he was in the tent with me a couple years later when it stood right outside the tent and just sat there and greeted us with with that type of greeting, and we're like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Nobody's reaching for guns or anything like that. This is so cool.
Yeah.
So.
See, that's me. That's my thought on it. Yeah. And the more that I think about it, in some instances where I've had where the people that I was with, a couple of people, we had some interactions that were like, like a limb thrown at you, not a twig, but a limb. That it was these people. It was the certain person who did not have, let's just say, did not have the best attitude. Yeah, we'll put it that way. I think that them picking up on that, like, hey, we don't want him here. Like it was definitely directed at him, oddly enough. But I think intent has a lot to do with it, and maybe not even just your intent, but the mindset that you have. If you're out there, in a mood thinking, oh, well, this is just crap, or I don't like this, or this is silly or stupid, maybe they're going to say, hey, maybe it's not so silly and stupid, I mean, I've only had positive, like as far as myself. It's it's sometimes overwhelming, but nothing bad, nothing negative as far as that goes.
Well,
Nothing that I would be.
and Bill and I talked back about that experience, and he's, and his first thing, these were angry Sasquatch. Well, they really probably weren't, you know.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
You didn't know any better at that time. I wouldn't have known any better at that time.
Well, if they're unsure, they're not sure, and if you've got all these weird emotions in you when you're out there, like you're not sure what it is. Yeah, maybe they're not sure either. Maybe they kind of pick up and mirror that.
That's right. That's why next time I go to Salt Fork in Ohio, I'm going to buy a bunch of rat traps and cover them with leaves and put them all around the campsite.
That's a good way to make enemies out there, Grizzly. You don't want to do that.
That's like that game. There's a video game where you find Bigfoot and they put the traps out like that and put meat on them. So I could see Grizzly out there.
What's the TV show? What's that one TV show where they always built the trap, but they never caught him in the trap?
Yeah.
Oh, Mountain Monsters.
Oh, we're gonna build a trap.
Yeah, I'll be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Go to the chopper.
Go to the chopper. Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. Well, if anyone wants to go on a special needs or PTSD expedition, I will be your bait. I'm here for it.
We need to explain that to somebody's family or an attorney. What the hell? What the hell was you thinking, Grizzly? Hell, we was just trying to experiment.
I don't know if you advertise it, but
hell, somebody did that one year. Remember, looking for a Bigfoot bait. If you want to become Bigfoot bait in that newspaper, remember?
Oh yeah, they put those ads out and things like that.
I still see it on Facebook every so often. Somebody reposts it. That's funnier now. And some moron was like, "Hell, they're paying me $50. I'm doing it." So,
was it successful? Did he get any bait? I mean,
we don't know who it was. I wanted to call the number and see if it was. To be honest, because curious mind wants to know, did it work?
Yeah. Well, you won't have to pay me. I'll just do it. I'll volunteer. It's all good. I don't mind.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's so many different things and techniques that people use, and like Mike don't do anything. He just goes out and it happens.
I just go out and be myself. And
me too. Me too.
I'll drum up enough interest to where they walk around during the daylight and show people, the clues or the prints or whatever the case is, and hear some whoop, they'll whoop at us or they'll let us know they're around, but without us seeing them, and then just go in, just have a seat, build a fire, shoot the breeze.
That's it. Like a camper.
And here they come.
Yeah, that's when I've had my best experiences. When I tell people when I go camping, I say we're acting like you act like a camper. And they're gonna get curious.
And sometimes they are so close to you and you don't even know it. And then sometimes they'll let you know they're so close to you. It just depends,
Yeah.
And we had one about a year ago, Grizz. I mean, he was no more than 20 yards from. He yelled he gives so loud of a scream and holler. And if you didn't know any better, you'd have hightailed it out of there. It's like this is so cool. You're right.
Yeah,
you were there for 30 minutes. We thought nobody was there, and then you let us know you're right there the whole time.
Wow, wow. Well, it's been an interesting topic to get into.
Yeah,
I think that it needs to be talked
we
about
need to explore it some more. We really need to explore it some more.
I think so. I do. In all seriousness, I really think so.
And I've got there's what comes to mind, a young lady that I did an Understanding Bigfoot show with a couple years ago that was kind of special needs and has interactions and stuff like that. And it's kind of interesting that they kind of look out for her when she's out. But
yeah.
I'll make an announcement, Grizz. this coming Saturday, if anybody's near the Cape Girardeau, Missouri area, we will have our quarterly town hall meeting at 1:00 at the Dexter Barbecue restaurant in Cape Girardeau. And if it's on the SEMO Bigfoot Encrypted Facebook page, if you need more details on that, we'd like to have anybody can show up that wants to. And we'll have the Kings will be there that were on here a couple weeks ago with their videos and stuff like that. And so we look to have a good time with that.
Awesome. Great.
That's good stuff.
Well, yeah, great, everybody, for a great show. And tune in tomorrow for Justin's show and Althea. So anything else before we wrap up, ladies and gentlemen?
No, I think it was a great show. Good topic.
We need to explore it some more.
I think so. Agreed.
Sounds good. And from coast to coast, around the world, everybody, Godspeed. We'll catch you on the next show. Good night.
Have a good night.